So today's episode, we're going to spend a little time in the Steinhatchee area. That zone in general is very popular during the summer months for scalloping, or scalloping, depends on part of the country you're from. We're also going to do a little summer pattern red fishing because I can't go to the water without wanting to catch a redfish. And then we're going to go over and meet one of the local charter captains from the Steinhatchee Dead Man's Bay Marina, and we're going to see what she's up to for today. So when you come to Steinhatchee and you visit Steinhatchee Marina, one of the things you can expect is a full service scenario. They have your gas, your bait, your ice, amazing tackle shop upstairs, a little restaurant, bar, and grill scenario downstairs, loaded with plenty of help. They've just added all kinds of fresh fruit, things that you can take on the boat or eat on site. But in general, plenty of folks to help you out and plenty of things that you'll need in your day of fishing in Steinhatchee. We are in Steinhatchee, Florida once again. Today we're going to be doing something extremely different, something completely out of my wheelhouse, something that I've never done as far as the filming aspects go. I'm literally a solo act today. So today's going to be very interesting, so stay tuned. I'm going to break down some summer redfish patterns here locally out of Steinhatchee, and I'm also going to visit some of the local scallop grounds and see what's going on in the scalloping world. That is a big deal up here in the summertime. So that's what's on the venue for today. So we started out the morning with a little bit of low water and rising for the day. And my hopes for the morning was to pull up on that low water while things were kind of stagnant, so to speak, and see if I couldn't find us a little school with some tailors. Buddy, did I. Good Lord, they're big ones too, Bubba. They freaking toads. Look at them play. They don't even know I'm here. They're so focused on playing. So this is definitely something that happens in the summertime here in Steinhatchee on these moderately low tides. What I mean by that is we have a big low tide in the evening right now, and this morning we have a moderate low tide. It's somewhere in the middle, kind of a nipping stage. Doesn't go all the way low, doesn't stay up. But what it does is it allows these fish to not get pressured. They're not forced to leave these shallow banks. So sometimes they'll just group up and hang out together on low water. And that's what we have right here in front of us. Hopefully we can get up there close enough to them. So these fish do this little pattern in the summer months up here off and on, where your moon phase will bring a moderate low tide, like not really, and then a really heavy low tide. So this specific tide set we had here in the morning, we only had a 2-foot low. So what that does is it doesn't drag fish off of the flats and put them way out and scatter them all over the place. It allows them fish to not feel pressured to leave, so they stay in little groups. We pulled onto the flat there in an area we hoped to see some, and we saw 3 schools of 50 to 70 in each one, and buddy, they were happy as they could be. Oh. Got him! So sensitive. It's so quiet out. There's hardly any breeze, low light, hardly any movement, a little bit of outgoing movement left, but not much. They're just being very sensitive, and thank goodness for the power pole move, I can tell you that. Oh yeah, good one. Nice little 28 to 30 incher, barely over slot. Uh-oh. He's gonna go ahead and see if he can't test out the old bull bait here, the old banshee. He don't realize the old award-winning banshee don't play none of that. Don't be telling on me with that tail slapping stuff now. Don't be telling your buddies. I have worn him out. He is looking like he's gonna be pretty easy to get along with. Man, check that out and look at him back there. That's awesome, guys. Listen, you wake up when you go red fishing, you go, you know what, I'm gonna plan a red fishing trip, and you wake up and you start heading to the water, and this is exactly what you hope for. You literally hope to have a 30-incher in your hand and a wad of 30-inchers behind you wanting to play. This is what Steinhatchee, Dead Man's Bay Marina, has to offer. All right, where's the lead fish? I'm a little confused, either on the right or the left. I need a little help. It almost looks like they went left because their tail on the right. They are simmered down now. Maybe they'll come or get fired back up here in a second. That schooling pattern is very time sensitive though. As that tide gets to a low state and kind of gets in that simmer state of mind, if you will, that's when that stage is the happiest. The problem with it again is it's very time sensitive. So once that water starts kind of switching and going back the other direction, them fish get in scatter mode. And most of the time they disappear pretty quick. Yeah, now they've got a little something on them. Now they're kind of like, not sure what's happening. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. They're not hungry. These fish were all larger fish. They were out of the slot, bigger, 28 to 31s. Very fun fish to catch, but the summer months bring challenges every time. And this was no different. Even though we had a flat full of fish and they were happy, we still have a lot of dead grass or floating grass during the summer months. That is a large problem in this area, which brings your options of switching over to some cut bait and things of that nature. We didn't end up doing that right. We stuck with the plan knowing that we were gonna go scalloping as well. So we stuck to the plan, used artificial. We threw a gulp to start with, trying to keep things simple, knowing it was going to be difficult to get them to react. Hey, somebody woke somebody up. Got a head shaker. Got a little head shaker, little redfish. Itty bitty. You know, it's not always about how big he is, but how cool he is. And this dude's pretty cool. So one day he's gonna be a big guy. And I hope I catch him then too. One other small detail about the summer months that changes color coordinations in that spoon. 90% of the time that gold spoon is your go-to deal. But during the summer, you have a large match the hatch scenario with the pinfish, which makes the silver spoon, in my opinion, a little more dominant. The reason why that is because if you'll ever notice a group or a pod or school, if you will, of pinfish, when they're really concentrated in a grass flat, all you see is flash, 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 wobble, wobble, flash. Loads and loads of flashes is what them pinfish look like. It just looks like flashes all in the grass. Oh, got him. Got him. All right, stop trolling motor, power pole down. Itty bitty. That dude must have swung on it 15 times before he finally decided that that was gonna work for him for a lunch date. All righty. That puts us up to 3 different, not techniques per se, but styles as far as territory goes in our summer patterns here in Steinhatchee, Florida. This is if it mattered to anybody, a small keeper. It doesn't matter to us, but cool dude. He's flexing on us there a little bit, like when you're flexing. Okay, that's nice. Appreciate you, dude. So when they disappear, your next steps are gonna be to follow them towards shorelines. You have to do a little research there on which shorelines and what shorelines, but one thing to keep in mind, points, dominant points, and structure. That's your 3 things that you can push towards. And most of the time, if you hit a handful of those first ideas that you see on your map, they're probably going to be somewhere near it. Ooh, I thought I got grabbed right there. I did get grabbed. I did get grabbed. Dang, grab me and come right at me, whatever it is. What a weirdo that was. We got a lot of mullet in here, and anywhere there's a lot of mullet, there's a solid chance for a redfish to be. So we got a little bar line running down parallel with this grass line, and we're just kind of bumping back and forth, trying a few different things. Put this guy back. And that was really weird, but we switched over to the gulp there from the spoon. Second cast on the gulp there, just bouncing it in that wall, produced. So we'll see what happens next. Maybe we'll produce again. We're gonna need a new worm though. He kind of destroyed that one. Once that morning window is over and the temperatures start to rise in the summer, that tidal's coming up and bringing warm water from offshore as well. So you got a mixture of the sun warming the water up, the offshore water being a little warmer, coming in there and just flooding the bays. That's when we thought it would be a great idea to go catch up with Captain Bobby Brady and just see what her crew was doing with the scallops. We appreciate you letting us jump in on board today and follow you guys around in the water and pick up some scallops. But before we do that, just let's talk a little bit about, again, your experience is up here, mine is way down here in the scallop world. So what would you say is, when you get clients on the boat, you get folks that you're going to deploy into the water, what would you say is, what's kind of the skit, so to speak? We all have this little chat we throw at our customers and our people to make sure they're safe, make sure they're doing the correct things.
Don't stick your fingers in holes. We do have people that do that.
Well, yeah, what is those important things that you kind of send to the people to make sure they're safe?
For the most part, it's nothing too crazy. We have more danger of other vessels coming close to us, so always stay within range of where I can get your attention if another vessel comes in. We have a lot of rental boats and we have a lot of people that don't get out on the flats a lot, and they don't realize 300 foot is a football field, so that's how far you need to be away from my vessel when I have people in the water, because all you see is a little tiny snorkel, and that's the most dangerous thing out here. Yeah. We got a lot of stuff about the wildlife that we have here. Of course, this is their estuary, this is where they're going to be, but the humans are more dangerous in my opinion when it comes down to it. Other than that, don't grab stingrays, don't pick up stuff that looks dangerous. Don't pick up stone crabs and bring them to me and ask me what they are. I've had that happen. I'm like, oh no, I didn't take your finger off. But the rest of it's all just having fun and enjoying everything you get to see, from crabs to starfish to urchins. It's an amazing ground underneath us that we don't see from up here in the boat. And I love when I'm down there and I watch what the pinfish are doing. So that way when I'm working my baits, I'm like, okay, no wonder they're hitting that bait and stuff like that. So it's cool to watch them feed and how they actually naturally feed down there for us. So.
And what you said there is really interesting. You said that, it's a very important part of the name, it's beyond the surface, what's down there, that's important, and a lot of folks need to understand what they're doing beyond the surface. Anyway,
especially
moving on.
going back with the talk about the grass and stuff like that beyond the surface. Our grass is so important to our scallops. We see boats in here that aren't trimming their motors, they're just ripping it up. So when you see those white lines that everybody goes, oh, those are cool, they're not. They're cool. From prop scars, and they take 7 to maybe never grow back again. So they are not good. Be very careful. So Captain Bobby Brady's been doing things a long time here in Steinhatchee, if I'm not mistaken, 20 plus years. And so she's got it pretty dialed in with the scalloping and the fishing. So it was no shock when we got there that she was already pulling the day out for them, and the ladies were in the water. And I just really appreciate her letting us crash the party, so to speak, and let us get some really good footage of what goes down in the summer in Steinhatchee.
So CCA did a really cool thing this year. They implemented these little scallop rulers, so to speak. And over the last couple of years, it seems like it's been a trend on social media and what have you. Seems like folks just want to go out there and try to get their scallop limit as quick as possible. Bragging, in the fish world, you're holding a photo. In the fish world, you're putting it on the measuring board. In the scalloping world, the bragging is, hey, we got our limit in 30 minutes. But the problem is they got some in there that are about 2 sizes some of your thumbnails. So this little ruler, so to speak, is something that kind of come into play this year, and that's really neat. And I agree with it. This is the first time I've seen it. That's why I'm kind of slowing up there a little bit.
We've been using them since opening.
I'm talking and learning, as I like to say sometimes. I don't know if that's the correct way to do it, but
every day, okay?
Sometimes that's what I end up doing, talking and learning.
Yeah.
But this size, this is perfect. I don't know if you can see that in the lens there, but this is perfect size that fits that, and then obviously this is even bigger. This sits on it.
Usually what we've been doing is when we set it on there, if we shake it and it falls through, we throw it back because there's so many scallops right now.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and put him back and let him produce for next year.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, the scallop lives a year and a half-ish,
Year and a half is their top expectancy. So our biggest thing is the scallops that are this size, over 2 inches, are probably going to die within the next 3 to 4 months because their expectancy is going to run up. Now the ones that are smaller than that need to keep spawning. They need to keep spreading seeds over the next few weeks, so that way next year they can come in. You got the little ones, and then the bigger ones are going to come in and spawn some more. So that's just like with trout and anything like that. You need your little ones to keep going for next year. And now with so many people on the water, we've got to start advocating it because we're just going to lose it if we don't. So that's our biggest thing with over 2 inches, even a little bigger. If you don't have one of these devices, flip over a soda can. Everybody's got one. Put it in the bottom of your soda can. If it fits, throw it back. Everybody's got a soda can. So that's another easy thing if you don't have one of these devices on your vessel.
I know this is very popular, and this is just a funny question that just popped in my head, but is this the same size as a skinny, like an Ultra? Because I know that's very popular on the boat, the Ultra, the boat drink.
It's very close to it. We had one flipped over the other day, like the Corona can is what we were actually having. The tall
pretty close to the
Corona
same.
Yep.
Okay.
But everybody's got a can. That way there's no more plastic. If you don't have, that's the easiest way. We get kids up here and we'll line the soda cans up and they're all measuring and having fun, and it gets the whole family involved with it.
I'm not an Ultra fan, but it just popped in my head. I know a lot of folks
If you don't have that, you actually can put it on a measuring board, 2 inches right
2
here.
inches, that's the key.
So that's your biggest thing. You want 2 inches here because he's going to die soon. So we're going to eat that one later.
That's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. That's very important to understand. You can tell somebody something until you're blue in the face, but until you make it to where they understand why, it's worthless.
Why
it's an absolute worthless conversation if they don't understand why. If the education's not there for the piece that you're promoting, you're just wasting everyone's time. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's very important to next season. Cut and dry.
And from here out, I have a 9-year-old and I want her to be able to do this, take over my company. So
goes year to year to year.
Advocating it now, which right now it's just a recommendation, not a rule. So that's where it's going to change. I think next year it'll be a rule. Right now it's just a recommendation. You see people up at the cleaners and you're like, why? Just go get bigger ones. There's plenty of big scallops out here.
Right.
I mean, they're phenomenal this year. Everywhere we've stopped, we've picked up handfuls of them at a time. So they're still here. It's a great fishery still. We just got to protect it from here out. Right.
Yeah. And I like that. Yeah, that's perfect. I like the fact that that understanding's there. Hopefully everybody got that. That's how the trickle effect going forward year to year to year to year is going to keep everything sustainable. So Bobby, where did this come from? Where did this love for the water, working on the water, scalloping, fishing, where did that stem from? Tell me a little bit about that.
All born and raised in Chris River running shrimp boats with my dad and my family. I got pictures of me in diapers running shrimp boats with my dad. I actually now own one that's parked at the marina. We sell all the live bait, live shrimp and stuff. So I've just got salt water in the veins. And then when I moved here, it's been about 23 years ago, of course it's a fishing town. Everything, if you don't fish, you're bored. So we got into fishing, and then of course met my husband, and he's the one that got me into tournaments, and then it just became a lifestyle. I'm out here, this is my full-time job, getting clients out here. It's amazing, putting people out here, seeing stuff they've never seen, and just like with the shrimp boat, you get out there and it's stuff that's underneath the water that is just amazing that nobody ever actually gets to see, that we take for granted.
Yeah.
And it's just, I love showing people that, just like with fishing and everything else. It just becomes an amazement to watch people, and they're just like, wow, look at what you get to see every day. And it's just, we can't ask for no better.
I love that last piece. I love. Let me tell you why I love that. I sat down trying to decide what I was going to call my show when I started it, and the very first thing, after literally 30 seconds and about 3 sips of a beer on the couch by myself in the house, I came up with Beyond the Surface. And the reasoning why is because it's such a broad spectrum. And folks might watch this show and probably go like, I don't know that I've ever seen anybody do a scalloping show. Well, guess what? That's Beyond the Surface. I mean, you know, there's people's stories is about it. You know, the fishing industry, the scalloping industry, everything under the water, everything under the surface of a human being, their story. In a nutshell, that's where it come from. You know, that's where the circle of it all come from. You can't have all this cool stuff without cool individuals and cool stories and family generations and things of that nature. So when you was talking about that, you know, at the last end, I was like, I'm connecting that name with so many things. It's actually farther than I was thinking when I come up with it, you know, as I walk through this journey, so to speak. So again, I really appreciate you letting us jump on board and crash the party. Let's get you suited up and get you deployed. I want to get Sam following you around, see what you can find for us.
Sounds good.
All right,
I appreciate
thanks.
it.
Bobby runs one of the original deck cats that was built about 3 years ago, maybe 4, somewhere in that range. It's more of a sandbar style boat than the one that we run. Both do a great job, and them ladies was having a ball with that boat. It is absolutely perfect for fishing and scalloping out of the Big Bend area.